Hi and welcome to another YouTube video. I am so excited to show you this one because what I've built this time is a storybook castle, and this one was inspired by this sculpture basically from my favorite theme park in the entire world, which is Efteling, or previously known as the Efteling. It's a theme park in the Netherlands and I've been there ever since I was a child. And apart from like the whole pandemic situation, I've been there every single year and I love that place so much. It's like my second home. And so when I had no inspiration for what to build, I had like sort of a builder's block kind of time period. I just looked through images of like the Efteling, just like for fun, not really for build inspiration. And then I stumbled upon this castle that kind of grew out of this storybook. And I know this castle, like this is the castle that they used for Sleeping Beauty, I think. So this is the Sleeping Beauty castle from the park, just in miniature form. And they kind of let it grow out of this book. And I thought, is this possible in The Sims? And so I tried it. And of course, in The Sims, in the end, it did not look exactly like it does in the reference picture that you're seeing right now, just because we have some limitations of what we can do. Of course, with the tool mod, everything feels limitless, so maybe it's just more of a limitation of what I can do. But I did let the castle come out of a storybook, and the storybooks that I used like framed it so nicely. It was just like the super cool backdrop, and also the whole landscaping progress and process was so different this time than it was usually, because instead of only landscaping with rocks and flowers, I landscaped with books, like just oversized super big books. And it just, I don't know, it really fueled my creativity, and for that reason I love this build so much. It made me very happy. I think that the outcome does have a certain kind of wow effect. However, I do think that the outcome in the end could have been better, but I can't really pinpoint in what way. It's like this weird, I feel like with my building skills in The Sims right now, I'm in that weird stage where I am making progress, but because my head is making progress, it feels to me like I am like backtracking, or like my builds are not as good as they used to be because I see more flaws in them, which is just like a very natural part of any skill that you are ever going to learn. So I'm not going to be too harsh on that for myself, but this build was so much fun, and I think it's such an interesting idea that I already have plans to revisit this exact build 1 year later. So if you are going to, I don't know, be or stay subscribed for 1 year, my plan is in 1 year, like to release the video on exactly the same day, to build this castle with this inspiration picture again and see how I've improved. Not that this build is like horrible, I think it's still like worth to continue watching because I absolutely love the outcome. And you haven't even seen the introduction of the books yet. So far, all I'm doing is kind of figuring out the shape of the castle. And what I loved the most about this castle building process was the roofing. And I know a lot of people hate roofing, and that's absolutely fair. But in this case, I had so much fun because I did not work with the like warping the curvature of the roofs feature for the roofs, which are like a little bit angled, but it actually did it with two roof pieces where one of them are all like going like very high and then like very narrow downwards. But then I added a secondary roof piece that kind of went out further, that was a lot lower, so that we get this like kind of intersection between the two roofs that just gives the desired effect, and that worked so well that it just, I don't know, it just made me ecstatic. And then you just have like all of the roof decorations. It's, I don't know, the inspiration picture, even though it's just a miniature of a castle that is already not full castle size, the reference picture still had like so much to give in terms of inspiration, like those little thingies at the tops of the roofs and stuff. I absolutely love this castle, and now you finally see me introducing the books. And so this is my first attempt on kind of tilting the book with the tool mods and trying to make it look like the castle grows out of that book. However, the first and like at first the only book that I could find that is open, because I also tried taking a normal book, making it bigger, and then having a sim opening it and then dragging it over there, but it did not work. As soon as it was opened, I could not really, like, I don't know, manipulate it anymore, and whenever I would go into live mode again, it would close within a second, and that was not what I wanted. So I went through debug, and the only by default open book that I could find at first was this little notebook, but it was like the item itself was like very small, like a lot smaller than the normal books already are in The Sims. And so when I sized it up, the text got really, really blurry, and I did not like the way that it looked. However, then I did not go into debug, but I went into the normal items, and that is where I found this item that is unlockable via careers. I think it's probably the author career that this is unlockable with, that also has like some sort of like diary or old looking book that is already opened and that doesn't close because it's a decoration item and not like a functional book. And this one was perfect, still not perfect, but a lot better. The text was a lot more still readable as text. Of course, it's also blurry, which is a little bit frustrating, but it's a lot better than it was before. The only downside was that there was a pen attached to that book, so I tried my best to hide that pen within the castle walls, and then I just got to using the rest of the book stacks as sort of as stones or rocks to just decorate those inclines and kind of make them feel natural. Because I know in the inspiration picture it was just like one stack of books that was massive that the castle grew out of, but I don't know, I didn't really, I tried that at first, but then I deleted it and did this version of the castle and the landscaping, because in my mind this just worked a lot better, but it also of course looks a lot more overwhelming. It looks now a little bit like a playground. I know there are a lot of video games where you basically get like shrink down and you have to fight yourself through like a garden or a sand pit or something, and this is kind of the vibe that this build gave me, which I think is a good vibe to give, like that this kind of looks like a little bit of a play castle. So that made me very happy, I don't know. And so I very fast was pretty happy with the landscaping, but I don't know if when I'm going to try this build again 1 year down the line, if I am going to choose to stick closer to the reference image and make it all like come out of one stack of books, or if I'm going to do something similar to this approach. And now, while being this far in the landscaping already, all that was left to do was placing a bunch of flowers and plants and just grass on the ground to give it a more detailed feel, because for this one I really did not like the default grass texture, so I really wanted it to be more textured, more detailed, to just give it a little bit more oomph. I don't know how to describe it better, but I think that the grass textures and then later the flowers and bushes and stuff that I introduced really helped pull the entire build together and made it look a lot more realistic. I don't know, this build is not meant to be realistic. This build is more of an art project than anything else. This is not meant to be played in. This is not meant for this is basically not meant for anything other than my pleasure and enjoyment. I think, and I hope it gives you a little bit of pleasure and enjoyment while watching too, because this build does not serve any other purpose. So that is also the reason why I decided not to furnish it, since that was already like half of a book that just stuck within the castle, and I was like, who's going to choose to play in this with their Sims anyways? I uploaded it onto the gallery still, so if you want to download it and like do something with it and give it an interior and just like redecorate it, or just remove all of the books and make it into like an actual castle, like feel free to take this build and do with it whatever you want, make it your own, since I don't know, this was just a pleasure project for me, and kind of like to get through my builder's block and just go out there and be creative again. And I just had this idea that I thought was creative, and so I just did it. So I hope that you like it, and I hope you're not mad at me that I did not decorate the interior. I hope that you still like this build, because I really do. I am very fond of it just because of like, I don't know, the emotional impact that it had on me, and how it basically felt like I was like freeing myself with this build. So I don't know. It's just, I love this one, and I'm already excited to see what I'm going to learn and how I can do it better next year. And then I think in the version that I'm going to do of this next year, I am also going to include an interior and try for the book to not take up the entire space of the interior. Also, I'm like so curious like where we are going to be with The Sims in 1 year. Like if we're still going to be on The Sims 4, or maybe if The Sims 5 has already released, if I'm going to remake this build in The Sims 4 or in The Sims 5, and what kind of packs we have until then. If it's maybe some packs that are like very good for like a castle style. I don't know what direction they are going to go into with the like werewolf build, for example, a werewolf pack yet. So I'm recording this voiceover 2 days before it comes out. I don't know when this video will come out, since I still need to do some editing. But yeah, I am just so curious to see what's going to happen with this, and yeah, I'm definitely excited. I hope that you are excited for this one too. I hope that you like it. I hope that you have a wonderful day, and now just enjoy the tour. Thank you so much. I hope that you liked and enjoyed this video. If you would consider subscribing, you would make me super duper happy, and I hope we'll see each other again.